Have you ever thought, when you're talking to your therapist, when you go on that rehab center like that I went to, and we went away and we talked to people, was it easy for you to say, there's nothing, was this your belief? There's nothing you can say right now. Nothing will make me love myself. I cannot love myself. There's nothing I can do. I just don't feel like I am worthy of loving myself.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought that?
All the time. Yes. Well, yeah, that's what drove me to that place to begin with. I didn't want to live.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I also didn't even really, truly understand what self-love was. I didn't understand what love was. I was 37 years old. I really didn't understand the concept of actual love. I understood whatever I thought love was, and I think we all have ideas of what we think love is. And still, it's a very amorphous, beautiful, powerful, amazing word, term, definition, entity, energy. Love is like the highest vibrational level of God. Like it's where I think we're all being pulled toward, where we're all supposed to be walking, but we can't love if we're still shaming. We can't love if we're still shaming, if we're still hating, if we're still afraid of each other because of all the bullshit that we've been programmed to believe, to be afraid of each other, that breeds that hate. You know what I mean? It's so sad. But again, but guess what? You're not able to be programmed with hate if you've already filled yourself what real love is, because you identify the charlatans. You know when people are trying to just rile you up to be angry with someone else for a thing that other person's afraid of. It's insanity. Mm-hmm. But so you become more aware in all of that. Mm-hmm. So to wrap all that up then, to coming back to your question about like my dad, 10 years ago, if this was happening 10 years ago, so many different variables would be going on. My dad would have been living in North Carolina at the time.
Your mom would have been alive, right?
My mom would have been alive. My sisters one would have been married. Neither of them would have had any kids.
Right.
Was 2022, 2013. I would have just had been finishing Chuck. Was not, by the way, in a very good. I wasn't in the worst. I had a ways to go down into the darkness from, all along that time.
But were you ready for?
Well, listen, I would have been okay. I mean, I'm okay right now. I love my dad, but my dad wasn't in my life my whole life. I mean, really, I saw my dad 2 weeks a year. And we would talk on Sundays sometimes for like 5-10 minutes. My dad would call it swapping howdies. And not that my dad wasn't there to give me wisdoms along the way and love along the way and encouragements and stuff. And I'm very appreciative.
But why was it so intermittent?
Well, because my mom and dad divorced when I was 6, and then my mom remarried my stepdad and moved us up to Seattle. My dad's job was relocating to North Carolina, and my dad was like, well, I guess I'll only see the kids a little bit anyway, and he fucked off and went to North Carolina, and he worked for that company for another 25 years.
When did you forgive him, or have you? Obviously you have.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that I forgave my dad. I mean, it's a process, healing is a process.
Yeah.
It's not always and I forgave him then. It's like, I am forgiving. I am healing. It's a journey.